Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the Kylou Glass Gen 4 series, and we're live at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 200. I'm Dean Doucette. He's Jared Carr, back from the Chili Bowl. How was the Chili Bowl, Mr. Carr?
It was great. Probably one of my favorite events to go to in person that I go to, and it never disappoints. You definitely leave like you've watched some good racing all night. I mean, it's not just the main event. Every race leading up to it is like a local track's main event, so it's really exciting to watch. And had a good time. Glad to be back in the booth, though.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wish I was there with you. The good old Chili Bowl looks like a great place to watch a race. I mean, maybe earplugs, though, Jared, necessary for sure.
Yeah, earplugs, but you can probably get by without the earplugs. But I'll tell you, what you can't get by is without the mask. You got to have something covering your face because after a couple days of that, you're just coughing up dirt if you're not careful, and so it can get pretty rough if you don't cover up your face and nose. But otherwise, yeah, it's and safety glasses. You don't want to get hit in the face with rocks. I had a few rocks hit me pretty close to my face, so you don't want those going in your eye.
Man, oh man. All right, let's get into to the championship standings here. Unofficial. I think the lead is much bigger than what's projected. Dominating the rifleman, Jared, Jason Ratliff.
Yeah, I don't really know what superlatives to use or anything else we can really say. I mean, he has been, since the series started last year, he's been the guy to beat. It doesn't matter what track we go to. We traditionally, I don't think we've run any road courses with this car. I believe it's all ovals. But he has been by far the strongest car week in and week out, consistently strongest car. And every now and then we'll get some guys that come in, they're able to compete with him. But, he is consistent every week. And that's the difference in why he's winning this championship the way he is.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need a catastrophe to stop him. 5 wins on the season, Jared?
Yep, 5 wins. 5 wins total.
Yeah, so dominating, doing great. Michael Walker, of course, in there as well. Some others like Tony Ratliff. Tonight we got TJ Rogers back on the track. That's good to see. Of course, Rachel Hunt's out here. We'll see how she can do. And Ian Spear out on the track. I love seeing that. He's got the Texas Pete machine out there.
Yeah, a lot of the same guys. I mean, you talk about last week we didn't broadcast, but we had Adam Newton holding off Jason Ratliff at the end of that race. Gillie getting a podium. Tony Ratliff and Tom Ashley finishing in the top 5. So those guys probably going to be looking to kind of continue that momentum into this week, and you look down through the list, Dean. In Austin Inman back out here, but you do have only just 13 drivers taking queue times. Everybody else taking a provisional and starting at the rear, which does include TJ Rogers, as you mentioned, and Todd Gillie, who finished 3rd last week.
We're looking at Michael Fleming here. Someone out in the chat rooting on the number 90, the Mac car there. I love it. We'll see how he does tonight. I was just turning laps on Indy. This looks different. Is this old Indy? Or is it just the sunshine?
This is the 2009 scan, I think, is what they call it in iRacing.
All right, so a little old school action. I love it. Jared, we've raced here many times. I think actually the last time we truly raced was at Indy, and you might have clipped me. I hate admitting that because it's rare. No. But I love this place for racing. I mean, I love it. I drive it like an Indy car. I drive it low and hook the bottom. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think that's the only way to get around here. It's unique. I've watched very recently. I've watched the Indy 500 several years in a row live at the track. I sit right there between 3 and 4 in those stands. watched the Brickyard 400 here. I've watched the Xfinity cars here in real life, even some sports cars, but that doesn't apply tonight. But the one thing I'll tell you is that it's funny watching guys in the Xfinity series that in real life that run this car here. The lines are very kind of all over the place about how they take the turn, but when Kyle Larson and some of these other guys have come to running that series, Dean, it has they've definitely changed how they attack this track. Is where I was going with that.
All right. Well, let's get into tonight's starting grid. Austin Inman out front, the number 18 with a time of 53.78. We've seen him in an Xfinity car do very well recently, and he makes his return to the Gen 4 car. It's the Rifleman on the outside of row number 1. Row 2, you got Claus Williams and Tom Ashley. Starting 5th is Ross Weiss. 6th will be Tony Ratliff. In row 4, you got Herb Ashley and Michael Walker II. It'd be Musial. Good to see Jacob Musial out on the track tonight. He'll start 9th. Robert Leprime in 10th. It's Shane Fleming back there in 12th. We skipped over Rachel Hunt starting 11th. A little further back we look, and you got TJ Rogers, Paul Travis, Jason Spear, Tom Lester, Todd Gillie, who got a top 3 last week when we were off the air. Ian Spear will start in 19th, and or 18th. That rounds out the 18-car field.
And they're going to come off turn 4 here. Right now, they're going right about where I sit for the Indy 500 every year. So, good view going down the straightaways. I like to sit in my seat while I'm broadcasting these races.
All right, there you go. All right, down the long straightaway here. Watch his pace car action. Look at the action on that thing, Jared. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard left.
I mean, I wish I had handling like that. Here we go, green flag racing. We're down and away in the Indy 200. Inman gets out there looking good. Side-by-side action through the field here.
Guys are, and this is tough, Dean, on the full tires. There's not a lot of grip on this version of the track on the outside line. So these guys are going to have to be, aware of that as this run goes on. Yeah.
And I think, I talked about the low line, but to be more specific, getting in early, that's what I meant about the driving it like an Indy car, Jared, is, lifting early, getting into the corner early and rolling. I mean, whoever does that, I guarantee you they're going to do very well tonight.
TJ Rogers making a big move here toward the middle of the field here on number 50, Bob Leprime. Dean coming off that corner. And the one thing I will say is when you're passing on the bottom as the run goes on, you're going to get tighter on the bottom. And this track is flat as you exit these corners. So it's going to be difficult for these guys to make passes on the bottom because the car just wants to wash out naturally. It's just the natural camber of the track.
Absolutely correct. Looking on Shane Fleming there in 12th position, right where he started. So everybody's settling in. Going to be a long grind for these guys tonight. There's not a lot of cars out here, so it's man and machine versus track tonight, Jared.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's one of those things that, this track, it will sneak up on you if you let it. It's not Darlington, it's not, Bristol or Dover or anything like that where drivers are aware of how treacherous those tracks can be. This track will sneak up on you, especially this version. It's a little bit it's after the diamond grade, so the track's really, really smooth. And you're probably thinking to yourself like, well, that's a good thing. Well, it's not, because a really smooth track, what it doesn't generate is lateral grip. The tire just slides across the surface. That's why, if you remember, the 2009 Brickyard 400, NASCAR had to throw cautions every 11 laps. Well, this track was scanned about 3 or 4 months before that infamous Brickyard 400.
Wow. Always love the history for Mr. Jared Carr. I mean, I don't even remember that, Jared. It's I'm getting old. The memory's not what it used to be.
Yeah, I just remember because it was so bad. I mean, it was just an unreal bad race.
Yeah, I probably turned it off after one or two
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I don't know why I watched the whole thing.
Good battle brewing here. TJ Rogers back in 13th, looking to make a move on Fleming. He'll get that done.
And Dean, the big thing with this track is it does produce a lot of single file racing, and the reason being is it's not a track that, is, it's your aero locked, and this is a big complaint of the time, 2003, how difficult it was to pass in these cars in general. The difference is that you can get a lot of good runs. Like there's not, the aero blocking isn't like it is today. So when I say that, don't think car of tomorrow, don't think, Gen 6, don't think the next gen car. It's a totally different thing. And what I mean is that there is a lot of side force that's put down this track because of how little banking there is. So it tends to just lend itself to single file. And side-by-side racing is just not very easy here. You have to kind of set up your passes, be patient, and work your way through the field as we're seeing some drivers do now.
Yeah, it is a track about patience for sure. You can't burn your stuff up here. That's why the early lift, the roll into the corner. And, looking around, I got to say, I'm not seeing a lot of people down on the bottom. You just think is this not enough grip with this powerful car?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised too. I mean, there are two different ways to attack this track, right? You take it low, get to the white line, let the car roll back out, and try to hit the apex again on the second turn in each end of the track. The other way is to kind of open that car up and try to hit the middle of the corner, the center of the apex, and try to like wide entry it. But I'm not seeing either of those lines really being done. I mean, we do have TJ Rogers who is scraping that white line, pretty much those rumble strips all the way around. He is making the most progress. He is one of the fastest cars on track, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, TJ looking strong. He likes to drive hard early and hold on. He doesn't seem to burn his stuff up the way it might look like, the way he's driving. He's doing an excellent job here, right behind Paul Travis Sr. Look at Weiss, he's in 4th, Tom Ashley 5th. There's the gunslinger, Tony Ratliff in 6th. Herb Ashley, Michael Walker, all status quo. The big movers right now are Paul Travis Sr. and TJ Rogers. They're both up 4 spots.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Looking at the lap times, I mean, Austin Inman is dominating right now, but we'll see how long that takes for that car to kind of come back.
Well, Austin, a very good driver. I won't expect him to fade much, but he does have the rifleman behind him, Jared.
Yeah, he does. And Ratliff is just kind of biding his time, right? I mean, he's not pushing the car too much. He's just kind of biding around where, he wants to run and let that car come to him. As we've watched, I've watched Tom Ashley get super loose out of turn 3 into that the north chute there, and Nina, that is not good. He's kind of gotten to the wall there coming off the corner.
Yeah, and that's something, we talk about a lot is the old, you can't get loose. You can't get loose once because those tires will get angry and it'll get worse and worse for you out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, the other thing to talk about when you come to a track like Indy, I don't know if it'll come into play tonight because I expect a green flag race, to be honest with you, but it's pit road. Pit road, there's a couple of things with pit road. One, you got to drive so far into it, it can lead to mistakes and speeding penalties. 2, sliding through your stall is a real issue, and I'll throw in a third. You can pit without losing a lap, which it can be a big scenario if there's a wreck.
Absolutely. I mean, you can get on and off pit road very easily without losing a lap. I mean, lap times are around 54 seconds. Pit stops, pit lane time with the pit stop be around 45 seconds. So I mean, it's fairly easy to get on pit road and still be on the lead lap, which we've seen it happen and seen races change because of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some I'm sure, very famous examples. I don't want to say there is, but I know there is, and I know you probably know which ones they are. But I want to talk about the stalls, these concrete stalls. Easy to slide through them, Jared.
Very, and we talk about this. Atlanta is a really good example of traditional NASCAR tracks, right? Concrete pit lane stalls, not pit lane, but the stalls themselves are concrete, and that is such a difference because concrete already has a lower grip coefficient. I mean, you know, I don't want to get into the technicals, but there is a big difference between sliding on concrete and sliding on asphalt and numerous other things. Because and that's going to be something these drivers have to kind of keep an eye on here at Indy, is those pit stalls themselves are concrete. So if you're not slowing down at the right part, you can have a bad time.
You certainly can. Let's get a little replay here. Ian Spear having a little, well, looks like something's already happened. He's very slow on the track here.
Looks like Daryl might have had a problem. I don't think Eric.
Oh, this is Daryl, right? So we're not sure what happened with Daryl there. He's just kind of cruising around. Could be a home issue, Jared. You know, this happens in sim racing.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it looked like maybe he was kind of feeling it out on the back straightaway. I just wonder if maybe something happened to the car, like a piece of equipment stopped working. Have had that happen, unfortunately, at times, and you know, been upset by it. But you know,
my favorite's when you're going 3 or 4 wide into a corner and your screen blacks out. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
Look at Ross Weiss. He's picked up a spot to 41 into 4th place with Tom Ashley behind him.
Yeah, we're starting to get spacing up toward the front. I mean, Jason Ratliff and Klaus Williams, they're about equal spaced together. I mean, 0.9, about 1 second, Austin Edmond to Ratliff, about 0.8 for Ratliff and Williams, 0.8 for Williams and Weiss, and then half a second to Ashley, half a second to Ratliff. So these guys they're all spaced out, but they're all relatively close together, so you don't want to make a mistake and have something happen where you're like, uh-oh.
The other thing, Jared, what is the draft zone? How close does Ratliff have to be to start sniffing the draft here?
In these cars, I mean, you're talking probably half a second. You know, the draft is important, but it is definitely not Daytona. And the reason being is they didn't run the same kind of front valences. This is not modeled yet in these cars, but the Super Speedway car is a totally different vehicle on iRacing. So the draft effects are not nearly as effective at bigger tracks unless they're play tracks.
Battle at the back, Lester and LaPrine here. Looks like Lester won that battle for now. So the new season approaching here, both in the real world and on iRacing. How are you feeling about both, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, we got the new format last week. I mean, I guess I'm good with it. You know, it's better than what we have, but you know, just because it's better than what we have doesn't mean it's the right system. But you know, we'll see how it transpires on iRacing. You know, I haven't haven't really paid attention to any of the new stuff coming out. I don't actually know if there's anything really coming out. Which got to be a first for me. I just have not seen anything. Maybe they're, you know, hiding it really well. But I mean, we're in, I think, week 8. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay.
It's something like that. Now I have run every truck race this season, so I don't know. I haven't put a whole lot into it, Jared, but I'm currently a Division Two guy. It hurts my feelings a little bit. I thought my rating was good enough. I should be Division One, but nonetheless, I'm hunting trophies this year. I'm pretty excited, and I'm also, more importantly, what I'm really excited about is, folks, I'll be racing against and with Mr. Jared Carr in a league this season ourselves, so it'll be good to get back on the track with you, Jared.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need something a little bit different in iracing, so we'll see how it goes.
It should be fun, and I'm sure you'll hear the updates in the booth here of who's getting the better of what. But we're on pseudo like a team connection here. Like we got 3 teams. You're on one, I'm on one. I'm sure we'll race hard against each other, but it's kind of a unique thing, and it harkens back to what we talk about with RGR here all the time. Community, Jared. It's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's all it really comes down to. And a lot of leagues, that's the main draw for leagues, is to have the community and to have people that you race against every week. I mean, you get in an open server, you might recognize a handful of names, but it's not guaranteed that you're racing the same guy every race. So leagues definitely bring that, and with that brings community.
Good battles back here around Michael Walker. You got Walker, Travis, Ashley, Rogers, and Fleming all in a group here. And I do like the way Rogers is running this track. Now, he's in traffic, going to be a little bit tough to work his way through. But I have seen him getting that tire down below the white line. That's where I believe it should be, Jared.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. And he's not letting that car swing all the way out to the wall, which I think is going to introduce some handling issues toward the end of the run. But right there, he did a little bit better. But he's right behind him, Mike. I think that's Fleming in the 90. And he's got really loose, and he had a much better run through those corners than TJ Rogers did, because I just don't think Rogers is utilizing the entire track, and he's going to lose a spot to Fleming there.
Yeah, and Fleming gets car down there low that time. He looks good. And you can see the aero effects, though, with the car behind you. My goodness, he got loose there.
Yeah, that definitely, I mean, you can definitely pack some air on them. We've seen that in the trucks. Somebody coming across the front end, and you pack air, and it's just, it can be really difficult.
Look a little further back here. You got Jason Spear, the Toad Man, Todd Gillie, riding a revamped car. I love it. They got the Kylou Glass on the back, and they're our sponsor, and we're thankful for our sponsors, are we not, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, without the sponsors, wouldn't be able to put these races on Wintel TV. I mean, it is great to have everybody on board that's helped us get RGR out there, and very appreciative. I mean, they've been great partners for us.
I gotta say, I think I love that purple on the Toad Man there. That's one I haven't seen there. That's really nice. Up front, Austin Inman, the rifleman, closing. He's closed about 4/10 now. Watch out.
Yeah, and I was watching Gillie back here, Dean, and he got really loose, and that's something that we're seeing a little bit happen more and more.
Fleming and Herb Ashley going on it. Herb seems to be in a bit of a resurgence as of late. He's gone quiet for a few months, but last week we seen him have a good run at one of these tracks and one of these series, and here he is tonight looking pretty sporty in 10th place, Jared.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and that's what's important, is to get some momentum going. I think it was Wilkesboro he had a good run at a couple of weeks ago. But this race starting to get really thinned out, Dean, and for the most part, most vehicles here on the service, we do have Jacob Musial on pit road. I don't think that's a scheduled stop. But Dean, most of these series will do something around 40 laps, 35 to 40 laps and Austin Inman, my goodness, him and Jason Ratliff both very pushed loose off turn 4, and Inman nearly wrecked it. Jason Ratliff's going to take over the lead, Dean.
Wow. Unbelievable. The rifleman gifted the front here, perhaps, and that's dangerous for the field. You give him clean air now, he might just set sail. Claus Williams still in third, doing an excellent job. Of course, we had on Sunday night a little tribute to his girlfriend's dog, Cherry. You missed that, Jared, and maybe Cherry's looking on with encouragement here.
Yeah, I did miss it. I was driving home, about 12-hour drive. So, but it's great to see that, and Jason doing a really, really nice job. And I think I'm starting to see these drivers, Dean. I think a lot of people have kind of crossed that threshold, and the car's starting to go away, and Inman might be one of them.
Yeah, he might be losing it. I don't think it'll be too dramatic for him. Like I said, good driver. He's going to keep it under him to some extent. But the rifleman, man, he's on the next level. Jared, when you see a guy do this and start to dominate, we've seen it from Bryce Reiner. We've seen it from Sheffield at times, or Leal. But if you go back, we had Greg Ratliff and Lance Ripka. What is it that just clicks with someone, and there'll be a period of time, and I hate to tell people, but it always comes to an end. There's a period of time when guys just find dominance. What is it?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things, right? You think about the dominance of Ripka and Greg Ratliff, the first era, if you will, of RGR in the Xfinity car, the Sunday Night Xfinity Series, their main series. Those guys were really good when the Xfinity car, still had tape percentages on it, when it still had, different settings, still had the right front or the main springs in it. The car handled a lot differently, in those early iterations of the league. And then there was a big change in the middle of it. And when that change happened, we saw a lot of the newer drivers to the service, not the old school guys like Greg Ratliff and Ripka, but some of the newer guys to the service like Bryce Reiner and others start to step up and become really good. You look at the Gen 4 car, we've seen the same exact thing. And the thing I'll say about the Gen 4 car is Jason Ratliff has been one of, if not the most dedicated driver in this series. He missed a handful of races last season for the birth of his child. Understandable, obviously, but he really has not missed races. He has run this car consistently. He has been here for both seasons so far, and I think that's a huge thing. It just builds that confidence because you know what you got. You're out here every week. You know every track. You're practicing. You're putting laps in. Whereas some of these guys kind of are ebb and flowing. Austin Inman, very fast driver, very good driver, but he misses a lot of races. He runs the Xfinity car, I think, more. But Chris Owens, another guy who I think would dominate this series, but has been inconsistent himself when he races. And he's not here tonight. So I think there's a lot of things to play into it, not to take away from Jason Ratliff, but I think being consistent is the biggest thing in being so dominant.
And the thing about Ratliff, as I change to look at Jason Ratliff here, is what impresses me is he's dominant across different vehicles. My thing is, Jared, I always tell people, you want to get really good at it, stick to one car. You're an Xfinity driver, be an Xfinity driver, don't change up. I was a baseball player back in my day, and my father would hate it if I went and played softball because it would mess up my swing. It would mess up this or that, according to him, and he's right. And I think for some guys in particular, anyway, you want to get good, focus on one vehicle.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. I at one point in time, was above 6K I rating on the service. A large majority of that I rating was gained in the Xfinity car. I could pull up the stats. I think it was around 3,000 I rating that I gained in that car alone between the three makes. And the trucks, I'm decent in the trucks. I'm not, a slouch or anything, but I did not gain nearly as much in the Xfinity car on that route. And then you put myself and a lot of people we can run the Xfinity car in the truck, very similar handling cars. Maybe the old Gen 6 also fits into that. But we go to the next gen car, and it's like a totally different animal. And it is hard to be good at all three of those cars at the same time. And I think that is definitely speaks to what you're saying, Dean.
Yeah, and it speaks to, the talent of Ratliff, who's able to do that, but I still encourage people to do that, focus on one vehicle. Even if you race the other ones, do them as a side hobby, but focus on one in general. Nonetheless, back to this. Ratliff, Inman, Williams, Ashley, and Weiss out front. Sorry, Jared, do you have another point about that?
Well, I was just going to say, especially when you're starting out or maybe like joining a league, like I've seen so many people over the years, Dean, that try to join all three series that the league is doing, and they're mediocre in all three, and they get dejected or they don't have a good time or whatever, and it's probably for a multitude of reasons. One, you're practicing for 3 series. 2, you're trying to come into a league doing all 3 things. And if you just decide, hey, I'm going to be a Gen 4 driver, I'm just going to be a ARCA driver or an Xfinity driver, you're going to have a lot more fun, number one, and you're also going to be able to improve a lot. And then the next season, you can maybe dabble in another car. So that's just a word of advice that has worked for me over the years.
Yeah, love it. Looking back at 10th place right now, TJ Rogers, Jason Spear, the Toad Man, Todd Gillie, battling. Rachel Hunt is back there as well. She is a lap down. I think she might have pitted. But this battle back here, they're a ways back. And we thought TJ was moving forward. That car is kind of going away on him, Jared.
Yeah, and I noticed that when Shane Fleming got underneath him, I felt like that was the end of TJ Rogers' move to the front. The car just did not look good. He was pushed loose off the corner. Bad situation to have Indy, because there's nothing holding the car together off the corner. You're just going to get aero wobble all day long off the corner if you're already getting that early in the run. And I saw the same thing with Austin Inman. Now, Inman's been able to calm that down a little bit and continue to at least maintain the gap to Ratliff and at least hold the gap steady with Klaus Williams. But we got Ross Weiss and Michael Walker on pit road, Dean. I feel like this is a little bit early, but these guys might be trying to do the undercut and maybe pit a little bit later, but we'll see.
Well, it's on schedule. I mean, maybe a lap early for a 2-stopper. The question I have, Jared, is anybody going to be able to do a 1-stopper? You look at Spear and Gillie back here. Maybe they're a little further back because they're milking this thing a little bit.
Yeah, I just, you got to do 85 laps total in this race. That means you got to do 43 laps. Dean, at least once.
I mean, they've got a bigger gas tank, right?
Yeah, but they also have a lot more horsepower and a lot, less aero. So I think that 42 laps is going to be a tough task, unless you're cognizant about saving from the beginning. And like I said, if you can save an entire pit stop, that's the winning strategy. But are you willing to give up? Are you going to give up all that time to save, an entire minute? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a stretch. I'll say that much. But it is possible. We have seen miracles happen. This battle with, Hunt is, I keep forgetting, a lap down. But
oh, my goodness. Klaus Williams just about wrecked out turn 2. He is down into the grass, almost into the grass in the back straightaway, but he gets the car under control. I mean, that was a death wobble that I was speaking about right there, Dean.
Well, we missed that one, unfortunately, but there he is, still in third. Klaus in a bit of a resurgence here lately, looking pretty good, but
he's going to fit after
that. Enough of that, he says.
So is Tony Ratliff going to follow him in, but yeah, that was exactly textbook death wobble that I was mentioning about earlier. You just kind of wind the wheel, and then all of a sudden it catches, and then you're gripped up and you wreck.
All right, so scheduled pit stops happening now. We'll find out soon enough if anybody can stay out there. I highly doubt it. Robert Leprime in as well. We look up front, all alone, the Rifleman opening up a 3.7 lead. And, I remember riding this track, one of my favorites, Old Indy here. And you get out front like this, Jared, and guys are like, okay, you're going to come back. No, he's going to extend. This clean air, this rhythm that he's in, he might have the best tires on the service while running out front.
Yeah, and I think that's how Indy is, right? I mean, in my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, that's just how Indy kind of operates as these races go on, and it's hard to kind of add that back up.
So lots of people in on pit road right now. Inman, Ashley, Fleming, Spear, Gillie, Lester, all in. Still out there is Ratliff. He has a 20-second lead over TJ Rogers and Herb Ashley. Unbelievable.
Yeah, lead. My standings are a little bit blurred up there, but here comes Jason Ratliff, lap 31. So Dean, I believe that's only going to leave Rogers and Herb Ashley is not pitted so far, but we'll see if they come in this time.
We were on board with Ratliff there as he came on, and Jared, that was a bit of an experience there. Coming in awfully hard for a guy with a big lead.
Yeah. Here comes TJ Rogers. Here comes Herb Ashley. So we have officially can mark off nobody is attempting a one stop. I didn't think it was possible, Dean, but I do like to play the game.
Absolutely. So no mistakes so far. Let's watch Rogers and Ashley come in, see how they get in, and if anybody slides through their stall here. I mean, Rogers, that was tentative to say the least. There's no chance of sliding there. Ashley, he did in fact slide through his stall, so there it is, Jared.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, you can't slide through the stall, but Jason Ratliff coming off turn 2 right now. And here comes Ross Weiss. He's going to be the guy in second place. He's might overtake Jason Ratliff for a split second. Weiss is going to try to get a drag on Jason Ratliff down the back straightaway. He's just not going to get in the tow. So Jason Ratliff was able to pit, Dean, without losing the lead. Ross Weiss on 4-lap older tires, unlikely he's going to be able to catch up to Jason Ratliff at this point.
Yeah, it is unlikely, but to get back to what we were talking about, Weiss, he drives these cars and only these cars as far as I know. It makes him just that much better in them. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the big thing that happens when you do run that just one car.
Inman just set the fastest lap of the race of 53.19. Michael Walker up 4 into 4th. Of course, Michael Walker a champion in this series, Jared.
Yeah, and Michael is sitting there in 4th place. Haven't really talked a lot about him today, Dean. I mean, he's just kind of been in and around that position. He's got Klaus Williams all over the back. He did elect to pit a little bit earlier than I would have pitted, but Klaus is going to make that move here now, and a lot of Fords I'm just now noticing in this league.
Yeah, the thing with Walker is we talked a lot about this winter series and experimentation. I think the experiment's over for Walker. I think he's going back to what he's good at, and that's long run racing, saving his stuff.
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of data yet, right? I mean, Walker's definitely not the Walker that won the title last year, but he is definitely improving. So it's kind of weird to kind of look at and say both of those things, but it is kind of where it is. I mean, I think that he is improving, but I think that there's some things that he has needs to get back to basics on.
Jared, we just watched Tom Lester on a replay. Loose out of 2, down to the inside wall, some contact, some damage on that machine.
Yeah, we've already lost 2 drivers, Daryl Spear and Jacob Musial, both out. Tom Lester probably going to get that damage fixed, but he is going to lose a lap because of it. And Dean, there's one thing that I will say, racing-wise, I don't think, based on these lap times, that we're going to see any lap traffic here tonight. I mean, right now, we're just now a half a lap behind. Herb Ashley half a lap behind our race leader. So it's going to be tough to even get into lap traffic here tonight.
Well, yeah, maybe during the last run we'll see a little bit of it, but pretty clean for a while here. Ratliff opening it up. I mean, he's going to be gone. Speaking of gone, Inman blinks out, so he's got some issues with connection. And Ross Weiss has fallen to third. Claus Williams now in fourth. Michael Walker fifth. And there's the rifler, the gunslinger, Tony Ratliff. He might be starting to make some headway here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Tony right there. I mean, he did pit at the same time, Dean, as Claus Williams. He does have a tire advantage on Michael Walker. Tires do play a factor at this racetrack. So it's going to, I think that he is probably going to catch Michael Walker before the tires even out. So the question is Michael Walker saved anything? Has Michael Walker saved anything?
Yeah, I'm sure he's saved a little bit, but notice a little looseness out of him. Just seen Paul Travis drift out of the exit of 2, I believe. Could have been 4, not sure.
Now he's coming in out of 4 right now, so yeah, you were right. Out of 3, I think he's out of 3, so.
There's Tom Ashley, a solid run. He is down 3 spots here, Jared, in 7th. We look at the pit board, he pitted on lap 30, so he's got some work to do to climb back up here a bit.
Yeah, down 3, but you know, I look at that, and he is at the tail end of this group. I mean, he's kind of in no man's land. I mean, 8th and 9th, pretty far back, not really a threat to him. 7th, you know, he is in 7th, and then 5th and 6th are battling right now. That's Tony Ratliff and Michael Walker.
Let's go on board with Tony here and see what we can find out.
Tony, a wily veteran. I mean, been around the you know, Papyrus games for years, or you know, all those you know, NR2K or whatever. But you look down the straightaway, he's going to look, he's going to glance. Can't quite get the car there. He can't quite get to the white line. So he's kind of running a middle groove, which is a no man's land groove. Michael Walker had a little bit of advantage by having just a little bit better exit. Now watch him turn 3. Gets down almost to the white line. Still not quite as low as I would want him to be at, Dean. But here we go, down the back straightaway.
Jared, I'm finding it extremely frustrating watching. I want to coach so bad. I mean, I want to get down to underneath that white line prior to the rumble strips.
Yeah, and I watched Michael Walker. I mean, he just totally missed that entry. Just totally missed both of these entries. There's nobody underneath of him. Ratliff is trying to get down to the white line, but he's not slowing down enough. I think he's probably overdriving because he sees Walker struggling. I'm
seeing the whole field do that. Now, I'm not in this car, so it could be incorrect. But generally speaking, you lift now, get down there under that line, and just nobody wooing up the car early enough to get down there.
Yeah, and that line, you know, I'm kind of looking at the left front suspension, which kind of gives you the idea. He's just in no man's land. That groove that he's running is in no man's land, and Michael Walker's just able to hold him off by just purely having the longer straightaway off the corner.
Now let's go on board with our leader, Jared, Jason Ratliff, and see if we can find a difference here.
Down in turn 1, and right there, I mean, he's already down to turn 4, sorry. He's down to the white line. Didn't quite get as low as I would want, but, you know, he's leading by 3 seconds, so, I mean, what am I going to say? Yeah,
but, I mean, I would even do more than what he's doing, but he's the only guy. You can hear the engine, Jared.
Yeah,
he's slowing the machine down.
He's still way above the white line into turn 1. Let's see what turn 2 looks like. He's still above the white line.
Yeah, and it's still late for me, but this is still much better than what we're seeing. This could be a product of the car. Maybe it's not capable of what we want to do, but he is doing a better job of slowing down and getting down there.
Yeah, I mean, I've ran this car, not this version of the track, at the new Indy track, and had no problems, you know, without, you know, having run this version. I don't really know, but
I think it's always been my thing that people are not NASCAR drivers, right, which we all are or whatever, are stuck in hitting the apex of these turns And at this track, that's why I said at the opening, you ride it like an Indy car. You got to get down early and hook it. It plays with your mind a little bit as a NASCAR driver. You don't think it should work, but it does work. Turn 2 is probably the best example. I'm down under the white line way before the corner even appears, Jared.
Yeah, I think that's aggressive, but that's, that,
Trying to make a point, really, but...
Yeah, but I know what you mean. But yeah, these guys really struggling through the middle of the corner. But we'll see. Obviously, Ratliff is dominating this race, so nobody's been able to crack the code there. Now we got a battle, Dean. 5th, 6th, and 7th under a blanket.
Yep, the gunslinger leading this little group. Walker behind, so I think Tony's probably gotten around. Or no, he was already up there. So Walker and Tom Ashley battling for 6th and trying to get their way up to Tony Ratliff.
Yeah, Tony actually passed Michael Walker. He is actually setting sail on these guys behind him. We were on board Tony trying to chase down Michael Walker, and now Michael under heavy heat from Tom Ashley.
And to anybody watching out there, you'll have to forgive me. My brain's a little on fritz, still suffering the effects of the 24-hour race, Jared. I don't know if people my age should be doing that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not the. I would say that it's not even about the physicalness, because it is physical when you're driving a road course. Oh, and Michael Walker's hit the wall of turn 2, and Tom Ashley runs into the back of a hard hit for the 22 machine.
Wow. What happened? Let's get a
Walker's
replay.
got damage on the right front too, Dean, so this is not good for the 62. He's going to be affected by that, but Michael Walker, heavy hit.
I'm pretty sure you just said he was running in no man's land, and that's exactly where he was. And when you get up that high, Jared, that car won't turn. It'll just push to the wall. It's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's a tank slapper.
And he's staying up there in that groove, though, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's not a groove I would run, because even with dynamic track, and this groove is heated up or not heated up, it doesn't matter to me. Like that groove, it could be the best, have the most grip in the world. It has no banking, and so the car just won't turn through there. It's only good to hold people off, not really challenge and run a line.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can use it to hold people off, pinch them down a bit. But nonetheless, Jason Ratliff now 4 seconds out front as he crossed over the halfway marker. Nobody making it to the halfway marker. We didn't think that was possible, but held out hope for someone who could really save gas.
Yeah. I think both of these drivers, Dean, we were just talking about Tom Ashley, Michael Walker. I think both these drivers are in a little bit of trouble. Those lap times, not great the last time by. I think they have heavy damage, and I think they might be in trouble of getting caught from Paul Travis and Shane Fleming.
Well, let's talk about Paul Travis here. I think he's looking pretty good, like time-wise, and creeping into the picture. And I'm watching him here. He's trying to get down there. He's getting down lower than most. So he looks pretty good to me, and I think you're right. I think he'll get Walker and Ashley before this thing's over.
And we got a battle for third, Dean. Sorry, that snuck up on me. Klaus Williams is going to go underneath Ross Weiss. Ross can't really do anything about it, but he's going to try to undercut him off turn 2 into the short chute. He is going to undercut him. So a little switchback move by Ross Weiss. Can he make it stick? No, Williams is going to pinch him down just a little bit, and that's all she wrote. Klaus Williams up to third.
Man, he got a piece of the wall there. It was a good job of hanging on to that thing.
But what I was going to go with, Dean, is the one thing I will say after watching a lot of the drivers in this league and watching a lot of drivers in a bunch of different things and seeing different ideas and how to drive and attack things. The one thing I will say is, in general, a lot of drivers in this league don't utilize the full track, and they don't extend the exits, they don't extend the entries. They kind of hold the wheel and turn the entire time the turn is going on. I was trying to think of how to say that. And they don't open the wheel up, and that leads to a lot of push loose off of the exit of the corner. And Indy is a track where you have to open up that wheel. center off. Like, you have to start unwinding that wheel, and you have to start adding gas. And if you don't do that, if you keep too much wheel into it, that car just develops a wicked push loose. Like, and this is the worst track for it. And so that's my one piece of advice for everybody out here watching about Indy.
And it's a great one, Jared. And I'm on board with Tony Ratliff here, and you can see he's doing that. He's trying to release his wheel. I'm sure you would encourage more of it earlier, but at least he's doing it. And I would say when I'm coaching people, Jared, this is one of my biggest things that I notice over and over again is the refusal to release the wheel. It's a trust issue. It plays with your brain. They don't think the car will turn if I release it, and in fact, it'll turn better.
Yeah, and the second thing, Dean, is, and that's not something that you or I or anybody would be able to physically see unless you have, like, you're right next to him, is the death grip of the wheel. Dean,
I'm guilty of that sometimes.
You have to it is a mental thing. I understand it. I mean, sometimes you're even, driving down the interstate, and you'll catch yourself, like, grabbing onto the wheel in the middle of nowhere, no cars around you. It's just, you just do. And I get it. But if you can just make your brain loosen up that grip, loose fingers or quick fingers is what somebody told me many years ago when I was doing some autocross stuff. And I gotta tell you, that is the fastest way. And as soon as I kind of learned that with the, direct drive wheels, whatever, that have come out, I've been much better. So and I still can improve. I mean, I'm nowhere near as good as the guys that are pros. So
there's a lot of similarities to golfing, Jared. I don't know if you golf at all, but you see a lot of people with a death grip on a golf club, and it's just no good. You got to loosen that grip up. It creates momentum, it creates speed, and it's really the same exact thing you're talking about. It's really one of my faults in driving is I will often notice, and I'll notice because I'll start to get a pain in my right hand in particular, and I'll have to tell myself, gee, what are you doing? You don't have to grab it like that.
Yep. I will say, just to kind of cap that conversation, Dean, I have been around some of the best drivers on the service that are in Coke Series, and being relaxed is a massive mindset into being successful. And it's not just a mental relaxation, it's a physical relaxation. Dudes that are just kind of like just lounging about in their chair, they're 10 times better than I am. And dudes that are up on the wheel and gripping it and looking, crazy and like sweating, they're doing 10 times worse than I am. So, just a little bit of advice.
Yeah, it's great advice, Jared. I mean, the great ones make it look so easy. Why? Because it really is.
Yeah. But anyway, looking at this race, I mean, Klaus Williams hadn't really set sail from Ross Squeeze, but I will say Tony Ratliff has caught back up to this group, so it'll be interesting to see what he's going to be able to do here.
What about Paul Travis here? I almost think Paul might be listening to us. Now, I don't want to take any credit, so maybe Paul's doing this on his own. But he's getting down lower, and he's absolutely dominating the cars around him right now. He's moved up into 6th. He's up 7 spots now, Jared.
Yeah, and you kind of look at Paul Travis. I mean, he's, coming back. I believe he had some shoulder surgery, I think. I could be remiss to misremembering that.
He did.
But, so, I mean, this is not driving this car, I have never had shoulder surgery or any kind of surgery except very, very minor surgery. Nothing where they were repairing ligaments or anything like that. So I would think that he's, this is tough for him to be out here even now. And not to mention, I would assume, and having talked to people that played sports like football and things like that, you have to, relearn sometimes how to do actions on the football field or the baseball field, especially baseball. Pitchers with Tommy John and things like that have to kind of relearn how to pitch. So I'm sure that he's kind of still trying to relearn how to drive with that shoulder.
It may be helping, Jared. You just talked about a light touch. Maybe he's forced into a light touch here.
And that's true. I mean, sometimes, you see that all the time in sports where a guy has surgery and comes back and he's 10 times better. So, maybe Paul Travis is kind of learning some stuff about, where he was at and where he can go now.
Well, I'll go back to golf, Jared. I broke my arm, and my arm never healed because I ripped my cast off after 1 week. I had to go back to work, but that's a story for another day. But my right arm will not fully extend anymore, and I'm a left-handed golfer, so oddly enough, its full extension is great for impact, and it completely cleared my swing, and I hit the ball straight as an arrow now. So I'm kind of grateful for my broken arm.
There you go.
Tom Lester back on pit road. We're on lap 52.85. Dominating performance by the rifleman, looking for his 6th win of the season. Unbelievable. Austin Inman, who's pushed hard, maybe got the car a little out of shape. Like I said, great driver. He has not lost much. He is comfortably in second. Claus Williams, haven't talked a whole lot about him. Been solid all night in third. And then the gunslinger, he's been making his way through the field. He's just got by Ross Weiss. He's now up to fourth. In fifth is Weiss, and then Paul Travis that we talked about. Travis coming as well. So we've got some guys who got a handle on it here as the run goes on, Jared. And I don't want to leave Fleming out. Fleming has moved up 5 spots into 7th place. Of course, he's got people watching out here, so great job tonight by the 90.
Yeah, Shane has done such a good job just keeping the car clean. I think that's such an important thing that people don't realize. Just keeping that car you know, keeping that car clean will definitely help you have a successful day at the racetrack, Dean. And he's up 5 positions into 7th. Sorry, I lost my train of thought in the middle there.
It's all good. I'm losing it every minute, Jared. Here we go. Shane Fleming, we're on board right now. Now, what I'm noticing is he's not getting the car loose. That's super important. I'd like to see him get a little lower. I mean, I'm preaching that all night. A little lower or a little earlier, but doing a nice job here. And, you know, it's kind of Shane's Achilles heel, if you will, is losing the car late in runs, Jared. Looks like he's found something here tonight to keep it under him.
Yeah, and that's, you know, the progression of these drivers, right? And just kind of going through this race, because, you know, we still have another pit stop coming up, Dean. I mean, I'm thinking that we're on lap 55, so, you know, the last guy's pitted on 31, so technically, you know, anytime, you know, in the next couple laps, the pit window is open to go to the end. So that's going to be something to watch for here in the coming laps.
Yeah, it certainly will. Very important pit stops coming. There goes Lester again to pit road. He's been in several times.
Michael Walker on pit road, Dean.
Wow, Walker with a massive undercut. Great job. Well, I wouldn't say massive, actually. Pretty on schedule, but still, many will stay out for another 3 or 4 laps. So Walker first in, basically.
Yeah, and I think he has damage. Probably more than he wants. I don't think he'll get it fixed all the way. I think there's quite a bit of damage on that machine, so I think he's going to kind of struggle for grip for the rest of this race.
Looking at Herb Ashley back here in 12th. He's all alone. But we go back up front. Speaking of all alone, the 55. He might be starting to see some traffic as Weiss comes into pit road. The Tide machine, one of my favorites, Jared. Who's driven the Tide machine?
Yeah, and real quick, Tom Ashley smacking the wall of turn 4. Todd Gillie's going to get by. But yeah, Todd been in the sport, was in the sport for quite a while. They started out Darrell Waltrip in the 80s. You know, the 17 machine, that was their first venture into the sport. And it's not Tide. I want to make that clear. A lot of people see Tide and they're like, oh, it's the Tide, the company is sponsoring this car. The car is actually sponsored by Procter & Gamble. They just have always used Tide as their main brand.
Do you have a sponsorship with the drug companies? Is that what's going on here?
No, absolutely not. They're based in Cincinnati, though, so I will say that.
Okay, so we'll shout out that. Please continue, sorry.
But yeah, so, you know, Darrell Waltrip drove for many years up until 1995, and then Ricky Rudd took the sponsorship up until 2002, and then 2001, sorry. Then the 32 machine took the sponsorship. That was driven by numerous drivers like Scott Pruitt, Ricky Craven, the most famous one of the 32 drivers that won that Darlington race against Kurt Busch that gets played pretty much every year, is probably the most famous Tide win. But I do want to point out, Tide went to victory lane with Ricky Rudd in 1997 here. So very kind of tie all that up for you.
There you go, Ricky Rudd, one of the old greats for sure, or at least most memorable drivers, one of the most memorable ones.
Who was the Dean? Sorry.
Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite drivers in hindsight. I mean, I feel like when you're a kid watching races, you kind of gravitate to winners, because like I like the Bulls. Well, like they're winning, all that stuff, right? When you're a kid, and looking back and watching races as a lot older person, you appreciate the Mark Martins and the Ricky Rudds, the Dale Jarretts, a lot more than when you did when you were a kid. That's for sure.
I think people underestimate what sponsorships they have on the car and what they do to fandom. As a young man watching the sport, the Tide machine, one of my all-time favorites, as well as the Kellogg's machine of Terry Labonte. I can't, I have trouble thinking of some of them, but some of the more I don't know if it would be kid-friendly, but I mean Kellogg's with cereal and that it just catches your eye as a youngster. You end up being a fan for life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that's something that's kind of missed in modern NASCAR is, aside from Kyle Larson and for a time, Denny Hamlin with FedEx, those are really the only two cars that were really out there where the sponsor was very consistent for many, many years and races even. And now it's like every week it's a different paint, it's a different car. It's really can make it a little bit hard to kind of keep up with what's going on sometimes.
Our leader comes in, so Jason Ratliff on pit road. Tony Ratliff is already in. The Toad Man, Todd Gillie, your new race leader. How about that? So the Toad Man rocking that beautiful purple machine. He'll pull it in here and get her woe down right behind him. Tom Ashley comes in a little hotter. He'll make up a little ground there on pit road. TJ Rogers is the new race leader right now. He'll have to come in here shortly. Him and Herb Ashley out there. We'll see Jason Ratliff coming off of pit road now. Looks like he's got no competition out here tonight. Well, there he comes Inman, trying to sling it around. He'll be a little late to get to Ratliff, though. He just set the best lap of 53.09. Shane Fleming's back in 9th. The Toad Man comes off of pit road in 10th.
I was trying to figure out where, Jason Ratliff was actually on the track in relation to our second place driver. So apologies for kind of being a little bit confused, but I realized that TJ Rogers is leading, like you were saying. Jason Ratliff just now coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, there is Ratliff, about 12 seconds back of TJ Rogers. Rogers again needs to pit though. What he really needs is a caution, Jared.
Yeah, he does. I mean, this would be the perfect time to get a caution. As you see Herb Ashley coming on pit road, he'll be the last of the pitters except for TJ Rogers. And that's what the play is, right? I mean, TJ's got to do this. I mean, he's running about 10th, 9th or 10th, I think. So this is his play to try to maybe sneak a win or sneak a good finish out of this race and see what he's got. Whereas everybody else is kind of like, hey, I'm on this two-stop strategy. We've kind of made our bed with it.
Absolutely. Looking on Ross Weiss, he pitted on lap 55. Williams behind him 1 lap later, lap 56. So can he do something? And of course, the gunslinger is in 6th. He's 2 laps and 3 laps to the good to the on the tires to the 2 in front of him. I like Tony Ratliff here tonight. Unfortunate for him, he didn't have a great start to the race, but as it's gone on, he's been one of the strongest cars out here.
Yeah, he has been, and it's good to see. I mean, different drivers having good runs. I mean, going back to Ross Weiss, I mean, we've kind of joked about it, Dean. He's never finished on the podium. He's never actually, I don't think, ever talked to us on Win TV. At least, I don't see any finishes above 4th on his stat sheet. So, he's right now sitting in 4th place. If results hold, TJ Rogers coming down pit road. So put Weiss up into 3rd position. If he can hold on to that, I mean, he might be speaking to us for the first time, Dean.
He might, no doubt about it. Jason Ratliff just set the best lap of the race a lap ago, so he's flying coming off of pit road. Battles on the track. You got Weiss being stalked by Williams in 4th place. Other than that, pretty clean around the track. Everybody finding their own home. Jason Spear, haven't talked a lot about him. Back in 10th. Let's have a look at how Jason's getting around the track. I think he's kind of moved down the track, which I like to see. And he has. So Jason really riding that lower line there out of 2. That was almost perfect in my mind. I wonder if he's picked up a little something, or this just how he's been running the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of watching Jason just now. I mean, I like the line that he was running there for a little bit. He is opening up the wheel a little bit, but I just feel like early in the run, I think he just got behind the 8 ball, right? I mean, and that's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely is, Jared. A track like this, we're talking about, minute differences, and you get behind the 8 ball awfully hard to crawl your way back. But if he keeps running this line, I think he's going to come toward and pick up a couple of these spots. He'll be looking at Walker and the Toad Man and perhaps work his way up to Fleming. Fleming up 5 into 7th, having himself a nice run here tonight. Travis up ahead. He's been one of the best drivers lately. Him and Tony Ratliff, who are in 5th and 6th, both having nice runs here tonight.
Yeah, and Michael Walker on the flip side, I mean, he did. I wanted to get back to that 5 seconds extra in pits than everybody else. So like I said, he did repair some of the damage, but he's getting caught by Jason Spear right now. And Jason does have 3-lap newer tires, so he does have a tire advantage. So Michael, this is not going to go in his remembering book of races he wants to remember.
Ooh, and Spear sideways through the middle of the corner. TJ Rogers, he just set the fastest lap of the race at 53:01. Absolutely flying. Jared, I'm sitting here and thinking how cold it is outside being up here in Canada. We got the minus numbers are mind-boggling over the next week or so. Very, very cold. And then I see NASCAR about to start back up. I mean, my goodness, it's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, I could use a warm-up. I mean, it was like 22 degrees here, which, I mean, is balmy compared to what you guys are getting. But we are supposed to get about the models, Dean, right before I was getting on to broadcast, the models, the weather models that have come up are now shifting a little bit further north. And it looks like I'm going to get about a foot of snow this weekend, so that's fine.
Well, how enjoyable for you. You get to go out and play in the snow. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. I don't have to leave my house, so it doesn't matter.
But what about NASCAR? I mean, when are we looking at the duels and what else we got? The shootout? I mean, this is right around the corner, Jared. Jared doesn't really have...
What was right around the corner, Dean?
Jared's a very busy man tonight, I think, folks. But right around the corner is NASCAR.
Yeah, Daytona. I mean, February. I'm excited to see it. I have caps, and it did something weird, and I could not figure out what was going on. and I just got me distracted, so I apologize for the little momentary lapse there. But yeah, I'm excited about the NASCAR season. I hope the changes to the format and the chase will bring some much needed rejuvenance. But I also, as I told some people that I talked to too, Dean, it does not matter what the format is. If you do not fix the car and the car is not going to be a good racing car, the racing is still going to suck. and nobody's going to care what the format is.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Jared. My care level is extremely low, but it isn't for iRacing, right? I love it. I can't wait to start a new season. Now, I could do without starting at Daytona every year, where the luck is a major factor in there, but it's still fun. It's you get the 24 hours of Daytona, you forge these teams and these friendships. Then the next month you're at Daytona doing the Daytona 500, and it's much the same. You need friends, you need teammates, and I do like that aspect of it, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of my favorite things about running those kind of races is, there's some frustrations that can develop throughout the race, but at the end of the day, you're all kind of working toward the same goal, and it's really the only form of racing where you have to rely on other people to kind of help you get to where you want to go. So it's really cool.
Now, what are your thoughts about teams ganging up on people and maybe controlling both lanes and all that kind of stuff at Daytona?
Yeah, I think that, I don't like it. I don't. The problem I have, Dean, is it's not necessarily quote unquote teams. It's the manufacturers that are dictating this. I think that's where I have the problem with it. At Daytona, where the Toyota teams are like, don't even think about pushing a Ford driver. And a couple years ago, you may not remember, but Parker Ratliff in a Chevy pushed a Ford to a win, and he said after the interview he was, racing, for his team, racing for a ride, racing an underfunded car, and he ended up getting cut out of the Chevy program in Xfinity, and now he's running like a C or even a D tier Xfinity car when he was in a B or C tier car.
Disgusting, Jared. It's absolutely disgusting.
I mean,
it's one thing to take an opportunity given to you to help a fellow, say, Chevy driver or something. It's another to say, I'm not going to work with anybody but. That's not racing. We don't need that crap, and it should be outlawed, and there should be heavy, heavy penalties for any such behavior, in my opinion.
I agree, 100% agree, but it just doesn't seem like we've seen the kind of penalties, except for the Martinsville lane blocking thing, which, for some reason was disallowed, but Daytona was okay, so I just don't know. It's too much inconsistency.
To me,
but that's another conversation.
Yeah, we're going to have them. I mean, no offense to the race, but we're at Indy here, a lot of space in these cars. We'll have some chats here. Big money ruins all sports, Jared, and I guess I want some big money to see if I can ruin something. Just as a side thought there. I don't know. Yeah, what can you do to stop sports from getting so corporate, so big that they control the very races, the very games, themselves? I mean, how can we stop this, Jared?
Well, that's a loaded question. Yeah, but I mean, I do find, you're talking about controlling the corporations or whatever. And I don't know if that's still going on today, but I do have an interesting anecdote about NASCAR sim racing. And I don't mean the genre of things we do. I mean the video game that was released by EA Sports on PC back in like 05. So if you ever played that game, you'll know the damage model was a little bit wonky. And you're like, well, why is the car doing these weird things? Well, it's because the sponsors didn't want the hoods flying off. The real life sponsors did not want the hoods flying off of cars in game because it would damage their intellectual property, they felt like. So EA Sports, being a corporate you know, I don't have any positive words to say there, but you know, doing a good job ruining all the franchises they already have, elected not to create a damage model that allowed parts to fly off the car, or realistic damage, or anything like that.
It's
So,
unbelievable. You know, a suit comes
yeah,
in and makes
a
these
lawyer.
decisions, and they have no clue what they're talking about. It's not affecting their anything. Nobody cares about any of that. It doesn't register deep in their brain or anything. Like, and quite frankly, a hood flying off your car probably help your brand more than it would hurt it.
I would think so. I think you would just want, you know, I think that, you know, if a guy plays a video game and it's like, well, this is, you know, my car's not even getting damaged, you know, I know people play video games like that for the wrecks and things like that. You know, I get it, but like even then, it's like you're kind of like, do I have damage on the car? I hit the wall.
Well, what about if we get damage? It tears the car in pieces. The hood flies off. The logos all fly off the car. Okay, you think that's bad? I don't know. That guy showed me and everybody else in the world that replay 100 friggin' times. I think it's pretty good for business.
I agree. I mean, you think about, like, you know, sponsors, you know, getting into, you know, getting into iRacing because of what the product was at one point in time, and you know, seeing, you know, these clips on Twitter and at the time and Twitch and all that stuff was good for their branding, and they ended up getting into NASCAR because of it. So I mean, you know, I can see that aspect too, Dean.
Oh yeah. So let me ask you this: you don't believe the Saudis owning EA is going to improve anything, Jared?
Who are they owning? Because they own a lot, so I want to make sure I heard
the
you right.
Saudis just bought EA Sports.
Oh yeah. I think that's just going to be a dumpster fire.
Oh yeah.
And I think.
But Jared Kushner's involved.
It doesn't matter who's involved.
I'm just joking. I'm sorry, folks. We're getting in the dog days of this race with Jason Ratliff out front, extending this lead. Big battle. We've been watching it while we talked through this. Weiss and Tony Ratliff battling for third. I think Ratliff's got the better car, but now you're really seeing the difficulties of Indy, Jared. Trying to pass someone difficult.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just one-lane racetrack. I mean, you know, there's really not much else to it.
No, you get in the dirty air. You close up to right up on the bumper, and then you fall to 2 or 3 back, car lengths back. Then you do it again. It's very difficult. And Weiss, you know, we also talked about sticking to a car. Weiss predominantly runs this car. He knows how to get around here. He knows how to dump that air on you. And it's a tall task here for Tony Ratliff. He's got 10 laps. You think he can get it done here, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, 10 laps, you know, Dean, I think Jason Ratliff is going to be so far ahead, I don't think he's even have to try in 10 laps.
Well, Jason one thing, Tony another. But yeah,
oh, Tony, sorry.
Yeah.
Too many Ratliffs in this race, sorry.
Yeah, Tony trying to get by Weiss here, Jared. He's got 10 laps to get that done.
Yeah, Weiss, I think that Tony's got that tire advantage. You see Weiss right there. Very loose off the corner. Very just, the car's, you know, going away a little bit. He's got 3-lap older tires. I think Tony's going to get him, but he's just going to have to be patient.
Let me ask you another question, Jared. As I'm sitting here, you sit in your chair all day. Do you have any problems or any thoughts on perhaps one part of your body getting stuck underneath another?
Do I have any thoughts about one body part getting stuck under another?
Never mind.
Okay,
it's not suitable for the airwaves, Jared.
I see where you're going. I didn't at first, but
It's
I do now.
It's generally an old man problem for anybody who put 2 and 2 together. Claus Williams coming into pit road, late stop. This is tragedy here for the 16. What's going on here, Jared? Looks like there was some kind of trouble. Let's see if we can get a replay. Let me I don't know that there was trouble, but he did. We watched here earlier on Tony Ratliff coming by Claus. Claus very high on the track.
Michael Walker's in pits too, Dean. I mean, he's been in there for a while, but probably calling a night on his race. But yeah, Claus is taking tires. I just wonder if maybe he didn't get all the fuel in it, Dean.
I mean, maybe that's all we're looking at here, because I can't find anything that's happened. And I tell you, Claus Williams is having a nice run, so something amiss there.
The
Walker
one thing I will
Williams.
say, I just now thought about it. He ran into the back of Michael Walker. Michael Walker hit the wall, ran the back. I wonder if that car was starting to overheat, Dean.
Very well could be an issue there. Looking at Inman in second. He's about 10 seconds behind Jason Ratliff. It's another 10 back to our battle on the track. That's Weiss and Ratliff. We got one other. That's Rogers and Spears. Spear hounding TJ Rogers, looking for 8. So that late pit stop by Jason Spears paid off. He's only picked up 1 or 2 spots, Jared, but you know, it's a big track with only a few cars on it. It's hard to get to someone.
Exactly, and that's what I think we're seeing right now in that battle. But I think the tire advantage is going to play out, and I think that Tony Ratliff is going to get able to pass by here. But Klaus is still on pit road, Dean. I mean, this is 2 minutes. It's a shame because he was running inside the top 5.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's been really good lately, and I hate it for him, but you're probably right. Overheating, damage, or something causing them to pack it in here tonight.
Yeah.
And I got to say, though, a little public service announcement with a new season approaching. Get your butts out here and get in these cars, because they're a ton of fun to drive, and we got to get these boys back out here and get 30 cars out in this field.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had some, low attendances, but, there's a lot going on this time of year. You get through the holidays and things start to pick up more during, school back in session, all that kind of stuff. So.
Absolutely. There's a Robert Lapreme out here. He has gone a lap down, but a decent run back in 11th, the Looney Tunes machine. Always love seeing it out here. He's been solid enough. He's ahead of Tom Ashley. Tom had problems somewhere along the way. He's back in 12th spot right now. Big mover on the night, the Toad Man, Todd Gillie, as he's right there on Shane Fleming, looking for 6th place. Just ahead of them is Paul Travis in 5th, so this may be the biggest battle of them all here right now. Toadman gets a good cut down, a good run off the corner. Here he comes, looking to make a move. The 19 of Todd the Toadman Gillie coming off his 3rd place finish. He'll move up into 6th if he can clear here. Wow,
Shane doing a great job on the outside.
Absolutely.
What a job by
Jared.
Shane Fleming.
Fleming, impressive there, holding them off.
That's hard. I mean, and Gillie.
Oh, and he's loose!
Oh, my goodness.
Loose and tight, depending on which car you're talking about. One spanks the wall, one comes down the track. They resume their battle. Crazy stuff there. The other battle, Tony Ratliff and Weiss, looks like it's worked itself out. It's a country drive for the Rifleman, riding the Smith & Wesson machine. He's going to just cruise to victory here tonight, coming up on 2 to go.
Man, Gillie, I'm just enthralled by this battle. Gillie continuing to just pack air, and they're both out of control. I mean, these guys, the Indy tends itself to space out quite a bit, Dean. And the racing can get kind of, drab. We're trying. We apologize. I apologize at least. that we may not have been on our A game, but this battle back here has definitely brought a little bit of spark to this end of this race.
It has. I mean, I love it when people are driving the snot out of the machine, and that's what Gillie's doing. He wants his spot, Jared, and that's what racing is. I don't care if you're in 7th, 6th, 5th. You want one more, and Gillie's trying to get it. And, hey, let's give credit to Fleming. The way he run that outside lane and held him off, that was about as good as you can do. And look at that, loose again from Fleming.
Man, and they're catching. The funny thing is, Dean, they're catching Paul Travis. Even though they're battling, I mean, this is sliding around, taking the air off each other. Man, they're catching Paul Travis.
They are having fun out here. And again, the wall for Fleming. He pounds it. The Toad Man looking for the cut down to get a big run here. We're on the white flag lap. And Fleming grinding the wall. What a battle. Here comes the Toad Man.
Here we go. Fleming trying to do everything he can. Can he hold him off this time on the outside? Drives it in deep, maybe too deep. Way up that track. I don't think there's any grip there, Dean. I think Gillie might get him. Fleming does have an opportunity to try to undercut him.
Yeah, it looks like Gillie going to get a good battle. Still battling with Travis. Jason Ratliff, he's come in. He is winning this race. It is over for him. Great job by the Rifleman. We go back to this battle. We got a couple of corners to go here. Can any of these cars change spots?
And Gillie's now looking at Paul Travis here, Dean, on the last lap,
Fleming.
trying to grab another spot. I mean, my goodness, these guys are fighting.
Really going at it. Oh, Gillie pounds the wall. Fleming pounds the wall as they give it everything they got. I love it. And Travis holds him off for 5th position. The night belongs to the Rifleman, though. He was out, set sail all by himself and just dominated here once again. That is win number 6 on the season. How impressive is that, Jared?
What a job. What a job.
We bring up our race results here. Ratliff, Inman, Weiss, Tony Ratliff, Paul Travis held on to 5th. Gillie with a fun 6th place, and Fleming in 7th. TJ Rogers, Jason Spear, Herb Ashley in your top 10. It's Lapreme, Tom Ashley, Williams, Walker, Hunt, Lester, Musial, and Spear. Your finishing order. Jared, not a whole lot left to say here. I love the track. It's man and machine versus track. That's what it was tonight in a small field. We got a little excitement at the end there, which was fun. And we may have temporarily lost Jared Carr. But unfortunately, folks, we will not be able to do race interviews tonight. So entertaining ending there to this race. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up here from Indianapolis. And I hope you come back on Sunday night for the Xfinity Series. Until next time.